amazing people, bonjour! Welcome back on the Today is a Good Day to podcast. I'm your host Lucy and I'm so happy to be back with you all on this platform after 1 year break. I actually didn't want to pause the podcast for a year, only a month. But what happened was my weekly schedule changed a bit, which made it really hard for me to keep on releasing weekly episodes. Because maybe you wouldn't guess that, but even releasing 10 to 15 minutes long episodes can take me 8 to 10 hours of work, which was not manageable anymore at all. But now, as I really enjoyed doing this podcast and helping you on your own personal development journey and getting Instagram messages and reaction back from some of you who listen to my podcast, I've decided to come back with a slightly different concept this time. Let's add some drums for the suspense. As you might know, the Olympic Games are happening this summer in 2024 in Paris. For those who don't know, I'm an athlete in field hockey and I'm a goalkeeper playing for the French national team, and we are qualified for Paris 2024 Olympic Games, which is massive. It's like my childhood dream, so I'm so excited. And here's the thing, for this whole year I'm going to take you on an exclusive journey with me behind the scenes of my preparation for the Olympics. So this is how it's gonna be. At the end of each month I'll release one solo episode. In each episode, I'll be sharing with you 3 or 4 main topics under a form of a question. And within each of the main topic, I'm going to share several tips and ideas. So everything I'm going to talk about are personal situations I reflected upon during the month, or difficult challenges I've been through and I've tried to overcome, or personal thoughts and reflections I've been working on, in order to overall help me grow, get better, and feel better mentally. Now, you know that I believe we get stronger together, so I always want to help you grow, get better, and feel better. Thus, I'm going to share with you several questions throughout each episode so that you can reflect too on your own month. And it's not a podcast where I'm going to share with you what I eat in a day or my daily routine and how at what time I go to bed and things like this. Even though if you ask for that, I can also post YouTube videos about it. But it's mainly going to be intimate solo episodes about my thoughts and perspective around my life, what happened in my life as an athlete. And if you're not doing any sports at all, keep listening, stick with me, because I'll make sure I'll share my tip and my perspectives with you, a way that you can associate them with your own life as well, regardless if you do sport or not. So if you're listening on your phone, you can write down some notes and the questions I'm asking, or take a piece of paper, whatever, because you do not want to forget all the questions, because you might not need them now, but maybe in a few weeks you're gonna need some inner questions and some help. Last but not least of this presentation, the Today is a Good Day to initial concept is evolving for this special year and is now becoming this month is a good month to reflect over the month prior. So as it's September now, for the first episode, we're gonna talk about June, July, and August. So first episode back on this podcast. Let's go sunshines. This month is a good month to reflect over the summer. What are the 3 topics we're gonna talk in this first episode? The first one is how to mentally deal with injuries. But more than that, how to deal with unforeseen situations that are very bothering. The second topic we're going to talk about is how to feel confident when you have to be good or to perform for important situations. And the third topic is about how to feel calmer and decrease your stress level during anxious time. So let's start with topic number 1, how to mentally deal with injuries, but more than that, how to deal with unforeseen situations that are very bothering. First of all, why this topic? I've dealt with few injuries last summer, and one of my friends asked me to talk about that important topic, which is, if you're an athlete, really important. In November, I half dislocated my shoulder at hockey training and I was out for 3 months. Then from May to June, I've suffered from a concussion, which happened during training too, where I got hit by a ball on my head, like on my helmet, and I was out. And in August, I half dislocated my shoulder again. That was 3 weeks just before our European B Cup. So it was really frustrating. And I must say, I've had my lots of injury for the next 5 years, hopefully, because 3 injuries in 6 months, thank you, I'm done. So I'm going to talk about my concussion here. And let me tell you, I think getting a concussion is one of the worst injury anyone can have, because basically there's like nothing you're allowed to do. I couldn't read because focusing gives me headache. I couldn't look at screens because it gives me headaches too. Just like too much talking with people, too much noises or sound around me, or any physical activities, it was giving me headache. So everything I do in general, training at the gym, running, listening to podcasts or music or watching documentaries or studying or writing or seeing friends or going to like crowd cafe and playing guitar, going to my team's hockey games, even going to the museum was giving me headaches. So yes, it was very awful. But still, I always want to protect my peace of mind regardless what happens around me. So in order to protect my mental health facing events I can't control, like injuries, I'm going to share with you 4 mindset tips and mental perspective I focused on while I was going through my concussion so that you can practice them too, whether you're going through an injury as well or whether there are like any unforeseen events that are bothering you. Here we go. Tip number 1. I consider things don't happen to me, they happen for me. This helps me accepting any hard situation more easily. And this also prevents me questions like, why me? Why this? Why now? If you're thinking this way sometimes, I totally understand, because it's also good to feel sorry for yourself at times and to feel all your feelings. So also feel your frustrations. But what can become a problem if you're always thinking, why me, why this, why now, is that it makes you feel like a victim. It makes you feel like you are the victim of the situation in your life. And what is dangerous with that? What's dangerous with that feeling of feeling like a victim is that it makes you feel powerless too. It's as if you're telling yourself that you are not in control of your life, things are happening to you, you're a victim. So, as a result of that, you're gonna feel even more bad. That's why if you try practicing looking at events in your life as something happening for you, even if you don't understand why they're happening, and even if they are like super annoying, you still choosing to believe they are happening for you, you're still choosing to have faith, it's happening for greater good, for your own growth, and you're choosing to feel still in control of your life. You won't be the victim of it. So next time something you can't control and you haven't planned is happening to you, regardless how like tiny or big it is, even if it's like your train got late and you can't control that, then take a deep breath and practice thinking it's all happening for me. So in the case of my injuries, I was 100% believing it's happening for me. I don't know why, but it's happening for my good. Tip number 2. Based on tip number 1, I asked myself, what are good things this unforeseen situation allows me to get? This is super important, and so tip number 1 and tip number 2 go together. Because believing things are happening for you is going to allow you to reflect upon this positive and empowering perspective, which is what are good things this unforeseen situations allows me to get and allows me to work on. So one example with my concussion, a good thing that this concussion allowed me to get and to work on was some proper rest. And rest as in my body isn't allowed to do anything, basically. And especially not to train. And that was, to be honest, super challenging for me. to actually try to enjoy this imposed rest time, because I'm someone who always want to train, I always want to get better, I always want to push my limits. And especially in June, we were getting closer to our European B Cup with the national team that was happening mid-July. So it was really not a moment where I wanted to be injured. But however, one perspective I really forced myself to think about, and that helped me enjoying this resting period, was the following. It was to acknowledge how much I barely never rest during the year. Because we always have training, our gym sessions, and even during our holidays, we go to the gym or we run. So with my concussion, I was literally forced to not do anything. So I thought to myself, okay, this is so annoying, but still, it's happening for me. So what are good things this injury is allowing me to get or to work on right now? It's allowing me to rest. Even if I don't want to rest right now, I still get to rest. I still have something happening to me that allows me to rest. And let's remember that next year, so this year now, it's Olympic year. And with the national team, we have a lot of training and training camps. Like every week, I'm traveling to France and we have lots of training. So the whole year is going to be super intense. So I also know I will want to work hard, like as hard as I can. Therefore, I won't have time to rest at all. So I'm like, okay, let's enjoy the imposed rest time I'm being given right now. Even if it's frustrating. I'm not saying you have to be super like happy, smiling, rainbows and sunshines, like, ooh, great. But still, try to remember the good that it's happening. And I know that a benefits as well from having imposed rest time and being injured is that once I will be back training, I will be super motivated and super enthusiastic to come back to training, because I'll have a great energy, because I will have all the frustration of not having been able to train in the past. So that were good things that my concussion, so these unforeseen situations, allowed me to get more rest and better motivation, better energy when I came back to practice. So for you now, I'm asking you the question, and you can write it down on your own phone or paper. What is something currently happening in your daily life you hadn't planned that is bothering you? What is something currently happening in your daily life you had not planned that is bothering you? Maybe something you planned got cancelled. Maybe you didn't get something you wanted, or maybe you can't do something you wanted to, or you have an injury, or maybe a meeting at work didn't go your way, or you lost an important game with your team, or you had an argument with someone. Ask yourself, what are good things this unforeseen situation allows me to get or to work on? Let me say that again. What are good things these unforeseen situations allow me to get? Even if it's super frustrating, still, what is this situation allowing me to get that I would not have gotten if things would have gone as expected? Now, tip number 3, ask yourself, how is this situation allowing me to grow? What are new things I can learn and practice thanks to that situation? For me, one example still related with my concussion, as I could not have much noises around me for my brain, it allowed me to spend more time in silence. This is a way that this situation allowed me to grow. It allowed me to make more space for the quiet, trying to appreciate the quiet, working on giving way more space to my own thoughts and reflections, working on slowing down my brain and my mind during the day, instead of always having distractions around me. Because I actually did researches on that. We can get tired from overstimulating our brain. So making space for more quiet time was actually a good thing to also feel more like rest mentally and physically. Second personal example about how the situation of my concussion allowed me to grow, as I couldn't do any activities, I ended up starting cooking and baking and painting a lot more. Because these were single tasking activities and I had to do single tasking activity, and it was in silence and I loved it. Like, I must say, I was super grateful and thankful for having that time to actually cook and bake and paint, because I was like, I can't do anything, so let's do that. And I always cook for myself, but I had never really tried like specific recipes or nor even baking. So let me tell you how happy I was when I baked my first chai banana bread. Like I baked it and I was like, oh my god, it's so good, and I baked like 3 in a row for the next like few days. I was so happy, I was loving it so much. So at the end of the day, I was actually thankful for my concussion because I was like, hey, I got that cooking bug. I'm happy. Like, thank you, concussion, in a way. So, again, for you, how is this unforeseen situation allowing you to grow? What are new things you can practice and you can learn thanks to that situation? Now, last but not least, tip number 4, and this one, side note, is my own belief. So it's totally okay if you disagree with me. It's not a question, it's a belief. And it's the belief of believing timing is always perfect and everything happens for a reason. The good and the bad. Otherwise, it's not funny. It has to be both. I believe that because I've been through enough really hard situations in my life, and it led me to some good things after. So now that belief, that awareness, that things happen to you for a reason, helps me accepting uncontrollable events with way more ease and peace. Because even when timing seems really bad, like for example when I injured myself 3 weeks before the European Cup and I couldn't play or train until the tournament, I was still believing that it was meant to be this timing. I was still faithful that it's here to help me grow. A way I don't understand, and a way I wish was not happening right now, but I believe I will understand it later. I believe it's all part of a greater good. So overall, it's about choosing to surrender to the fact that we can't control everything, and choosing to not be thinking, why now, why me, why this, but instead accepting it is now, and it is you, and it is this, is going to allow you to make the most of it. This tip number 4 is also a reminder that hardships are not taking you away from the main road. Hardships are the main road. So now, anytime you're struggling again, or injured, or facing hardships, or whatever, do whatever you can to improve the situation. That's really important. Do your best to get out of it. Do your best to improve the thing. For example, with the injury, do your best to recover the best way possible. But at the same time, have faith that it's all part of your life journey. So to conclude this first mental key point, I have a quote for you that I heard in a sermon from Stephen Furtick on YouTube. And the man preached that it's less about what you have and more about how you handle what you have. Let me say that again. You can write it down if you want to, because I love this perspective. It's less about what you have and more about how you handle what you have. So how are you handling what you have right now? And how do you want to handle what you have? Because that's also important. How do you want to handle what you have? Who do you want to be in this situation? And how are you choosing to think and to behave around what you have? Let's keep going with topic number 2. How to feel confident when you're expected to perform or to be good at important event. When I say important event or situation, it can be your sport game for sure, but also important meeting at your work, or presentation you have to do at school, or exams you have, or even if you have a difficult conversation with someone and you're nervous about it, you still want to feel confident when you're gonna approach the person. Now, this second topic, why am I talking about it? It's because it's related with my second shoulder injury in August. Like I said before, it happened 3 weeks before the European Cup. So now let me give you a bit of concept around my own hockey season last year. I was injured from November to February, so I didn't play hockey. I came back, I trained, I had some games, then I got my concussion in May and in June. So I couldn't play anything, also nothing with the national team. And then I came back in June, I had few trainings, I played 4 friendly games, and boom, lovely, I injured my shoulder again. And that was just 3 weeks before the European Cup, where I was playing at first goalie, and our goal as a team was to win the competition. So I really, really, really wanted to perform and to help my team reach our goal. Like, I really wanted and I needed to perform. Like, that was super important for me. But as you can imagine, having only 6 or 7 hockey trainings and 4 games, like out of the whole past like 4 months due to injury, is really not the best way to feel confident before a tournament. Like, really not, especially when you want to win a tournament. But however, even if I can't control the injury, I can still choose to control my thoughts and my way of looking at my injury and at my situation. So here are 3 mental perspectives that I use to help me feel confident for important situations. Tip number 1. Remember past situations similar as the one you're going through that you succeeded at overcoming. Why this tip? Because this tip is here to help you remember that you can succeed and be good at something, even if you really do not feel like you're going to be good and succeed at that thing. Now, should I give you some explanation on that mindset tip? Yes, I think it's going to be useful because I don't know if you have an idea of what I mean. So what I mean by that, by remembering difficult situations similar as the one you're going through that you succeeded at overcoming, I have an example. So let's say I have a hockey game coming up, but I'm super tired. And because I'm tired, I'm not feeling at my best. So my fatigue is most likely to impact my confidence level. So my self-talk is most likely going to sound like, oh no, I'm tired. I'm not feeling at my best. Oh la la, it makes me nervous that I won't be able to perform like I want to, and I don't want to screw up, and I'm gonna fail, and what if I fail, and I'm scared, and I don't want to let the team down, and I don't want to let the coach down, and I don't want to let myself down, and oh la la, I really want us to win, and like all these kind of thoughts. I'm sure you can relate to this sort of self-talk. In this situation, I do what I call going into my personal database. So this is what I mean by remembering past difficult and similar situations as the one you're going through that you succeeded at overcoming. So what does it mean? It means I'm taking 10 seconds to pause while I'm freaking out in my mind. I'm taking 10 seconds to pause and to remember a situation in my past that's a bit similar to my current present one. And why am I doing that? I do it in order to let me know that, hey, Lucy, relax, chill out, you're gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. You've played game already before where you were tired, and you've played good. So take some breath and focus on that. Focus on the fact that in the past you did it already, so you can do it again now in the present. This is really important, people. Have a good focus. Focus on the past success instead of focusing on your present insecurities. You can write that down if you want, and let me say that again. Focus on the past success instead of focusing on your present insecurities. Now, I'm not saying you're going to perform and succeed 100% of the time. Like, I'm still going to play some game tired, and I still might fail. And by failing, I mean I won't play as great as I could. But still, I still know I'm capable of succeeding because in my past, I can recall at least one similar event as the one right now where I ended up succeeding. So this tip is one way to help you feel more confident prior to your important event. You can write that down, create your own personal database, and go back to it when it's needed. So for me here, before my European Cup, in order to let me know that it's okay, I can perform, I can feel confident, even though I hadn't played for 3 weeks, I went into my thoughts, I went into my personal database, and I remembered a friendly game I played against Italy in March with the national team. I hadn't played a game for like, I think 3 months, and I was super tired on that day, but still somehow I managed to save like every ball and we drew the game like 0-0. So before my first European Cup, I kept repeating to myself, you've been in that situation before, so you know you can do it. You're gonna be fine. Like, you can do this. Like, you literally can do this. You've done it before, so it's okay. I ended up playing a really good tournament and we became champions. That was like awesome because I was really like happy and relieved I've been able to help my team reaching our goal. Now, the second tip I have for you to practice feeling confident is find a way to get into your own zone. What do I mean by that? If you play sport, you might be familiar with the concept of being in the zone, which means reaching a mental and emotional state so special that allows you to feel so good and to perform at your best. And if you're not familiar with this, it's totally okay, it's normal. But I'm going to show you an example of what I do and how you can create your own routine to reach your own zone. So before each of my games, I created my own mindset routine. So like in the morning, I'm gonna watch like sport or athlete documentaries or listen to motivational speeches on YouTube, which is going to like fire me up a bit, and I'm gonna be really ready to go. Then I'm gonna start really paying attention to my self-talk. This is really important, your self-talk. So I make sure I say to myself positive affirmation like I'm able to perform under pressure, I'm performing today, I'm ready for today, I can do it, I've trained for this, I'm ready, like I'm excited to play. And then on my way to the game and during my warm-up on the field, I'm listening to a special game day playlist that I created, which is a lot of rap song in my case, and it fires me a lot too because it's like bam, 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 like let's go. So it gets me into this let's fucking go mindset. Then I do a lot of slow, deep breath as well to relax my body too when I'm on the field. Like just before I start having balls being shot on me by the girls, I breathe a lot. Also during the warm-up, I'm going to do some hand-eye coordination exercises. And all these little things are going to help me to lead my mind into a special space where I don't care how tired I am, or if it's raining, or if it's cold, or if it's snowing, or whatever. I'm just in my zone. I'm ready for war and I'm ready to give my all. And being in the zone during nerves-wracking situations is super helpful to increase your self-confidence. Why? Because it helps you to feel almost invincible. Like really, I love being in the zone because it's a feeling I never get like at any other situations in my daily life. It's just on game day. I'm reaching that mental space, and I don't know how you are. I shared examples that are related with my personality and my character. So if you want to try the same things that I mentioned, feel free, be my guest. But it's also okay if you do not relate to what I said. Maybe what you prefer to do to reach your own zone related with your own sensitivity and also related with the activity you have to have. Like if you have to go to an exam, you might not want to feel like let's fucking go, like like athlete mind. But maybe what works for you, it's having more quiet time in the morning or in the evening. Let's say you'd rather go for a walk outside or spend time with your cat or your dog or your rabbit if you have an animal, and have like a cup of tea or a coffee on your couch and meditate or do some really creative activities or read something special that is going to allow your mind to detach from the upcoming event. And when it's time to go, you're just super calm and in your own type of zone. And you also take good care of your self-talk. So you're really like, hey, I'm giving myself proper quality time, like you're recharging your mind to perform. Find what works for you and ask yourself, what are activities that are related with my personality and my character that I can do, and words that I can say to myself that will allow my mind to get both calm and excited and ready for the stressful event I'm having soon. So this was about going into your zone. Now, the third tip is the following one. Don't just get ready, stay ready. This is something from Will Smith. I can't get credit on that one. Will Smith always said, like, I don't get ready, I stay ready. And that's another point I believe helped me a lot to perform at the European Cup this summer, despite all my injuries. What does it mean to stay ready? It means that as much as possible, always try to do the right thing around your work environment. Always try to prepare ahead of the important moment as best as you can, so that regardless when the moment comes, you always feel ready. It doesn't have to be 15 right things, it can only just be one, but because you're always doing that right thing, you feel confident and less nervous. So for example, let's say you're afraid of public speaking, and you have to speak in front of people and do an oral presentation in 3 weeks. One way you can practice feeling more confident is every day, for a few times a week, take 5 minutes of your time, just 5 minutes, really 5 minutes. Let's say whether you're cooking, or you're in the shower, or you're cleaning your room, or you're getting ready, you're dressing up, are you on your bike, are you in your car, are you walking to work or anywhere? While you're doing that activity, just speak out loud to yourself about the topic that you have to present to other people. And yes, you might feel super silly at the beginning to talk to yourself, and you might be shy, and you might feel super awkward to talk out loud. But if you're trying every day, or just 3 times a week, just for 5 minutes, to speak out loud, it's going to allow you to get more comfortable in this activity. You're going to get rid of the shame a bit, get rid of the insecurity a bit. And because you're preparing yourself, you're doing the right thing. You're preparing yourself. You are getting ready for your public speaking situation. But even when your speech is finished and you've done your talk, keep talking out loud like 5 minutes every day. Keep practicing. Stay ready. Don't just wait to have another speaking event in like 5 months at school to start doing this few days before. No, just now. Keep talking. Keep practicing. That way, you're staying ready. And let's say if all of a sudden your boss or your teacher or anyone is asking you to present something in front of everyone tomorrow, you will feel confident because you've stayed ready thanks to this 5 little minutes spent daily on your craft. In terms of sport and my own way of staying ready, one example I can share with you in terms of always doing the right thing is at every single hockey training, I focus on each ball like I'm in a game. Like for me, it's clear. Training time is like game time. Every time, every situation, every ball, I intend to be super focused and I give like all my energy as if it's a game. Even though it's just training and I could really not care if I would make a mistake, or I could really not care if my energy isn't good or if I'm tired or whatever. But no, I always set the intentions for myself to approach each training like it's a game. Thanks to this, when the game comes, whether I played a game 2 days ago or 3 months ago, I'm feeling confident and ready to play because I stayed ready at each of my trainings. So for you, you can ask yourself and write it down. What is one little routine I can create for myself in order to feel more confident about an insecurity I have, or about an event I might go through, like a game or public speaking event, for which I want to perform and I want to feel confident? How can I approach a situation mentally so that I always feel that I'm staying ready for it? Now, ladies and gentlemen, champions and sunshines, last but not least, the third topic of this episode. How to feel calmer and decrease your stress level during anxious situations. I'm going to share not 3, but 1 way to do that. But remember, that's 1 way that I'm going to share to feel calmer. But I'm not saying it's the only way. Like, I'm never sharing anything thinking this is the only way to do it. It's only like tips and tricks I use for myself, and I'm sharing them. If it works for you, it's awesome and I'm super happy. If it doesn't work for you, it's totally okay. You can try something else and see if that something else works for you. So here, how to feel calmer and decrease your stress level during anxious situation. So what happened to me during the summer so that I'm talking about this topic? At the end of August, we went to Japan with the national team to play 4 friendly games against the Japanese team. And let me tell you, these were some of the hardest game conditions I've ever played under. It was like so challenging and I did not see that coming. It's so warm. It's 35 degrees. The humidity is huge. We're playing at 12 there, like lunchtime. So the sun is up and I'm a goalkeeper. So with my goalie kit, it was almost unbearable. And I'm overheating in Japan. And of course, it's 7 hours time difference. So I'm jet lagged. I'm super tired. When I communicate with my defense during the game, my head gets dizzy because of the heat. And I was really feeling like I was going to pass out. I was freaking out, and I had these moments during the warm-up or even during the game where I felt so overwhelmed, so anxious, and I was almost scared to be playing hockey in this context, that I was almost wishing I wasn't playing the game, which is really not me. And here's the thing. I said earlier I practice going into my personal database in order to remember past situations that happened to me. But here, this type of situation was the first one I've been through. So I couldn't really go through my personal database like I mentioned earlier. So I'm on the field. I'm almost about to have an anxiety attack, but still my goal is to perform and to play as good as I can and be proud of me at the end of the game. So I couldn't just say, hey, it's okay, I'm freaking out and I'm anxious and it's so warm and I'm tired, I'm just gonna give up and yeah, whatever. Like, no, that's not who I want to be. What did I do instead? The mental tip I used in that situation to help me calm down was to focus on two simple things. Just that. Just two simple tasks. Just focus on two simple tasks. I told myself, keep your eyes on the ball and stay patient. Keep your eyes on the ball and stay patient. That's it. So to give you better context, imagine I'm on the field right now and the game is going. The ball is far away from me, so I have time to be with my thoughts. My self-talk will go back and forth to, oh my god, it's so warm and I can't stand the heat. My head gets dizzy. Oh my god, I'm just freaking out right now because I don't feel good and I'm so tired and I'm so warm and oh my god, how am I going to play this game? And it's just the beginning of the game now and I'm really not feeling well and I don't want to play almost. Okay, just breathe. Just breathe. It's okay. Just breathe. Keep your eyes on the ball and be patient. That was my self-talk the whole game. And having that narrative immediately helped me feeling calmer. Because instead of getting overwhelmed by everything around me, everything I could not control, which was the heat, the humidity, how warm I am with my goalkeeper kit, and how tired and jet lagged I am, I was just aiming to focus on super simple tasks that were in my power to focus on. If it's too hard to communicate, then only communicate when it's really important. That's okay, you can do that and try to forget the heat, but instead just keep your eyes on the ball. Just keep your eyes on the ball. And just side note, to keep your eyes on the ball and staying patient is a goalkeeper technique that we do to improve our saves. So that was my goal. So for you now, next time you're facing an anxious situation or an overwhelming one and you have no idea, like literally no idea how you're going to get through it all. First, that's okay. It happens to everyone. Second, take a breath and help yourself feeling calmer by simply focusing on one or two super simple tasks that you can do. That's it. Just one or two super simple tasks and focus on them. Even if your self-talk becomes negative again, that's okay. Just keep going back to the one or two simple tasks. Like for me, the whole game, I went back to, oh my god, it's so warm, I'm gonna die, to, it's okay, just keep your eyes on the ball. Be patient, it's okay. So for you, it's the same. It's okay. Just one or two simple things. So voila champions, that's it for this first episode of this month. It's a good month to reflect over the summer. But if you want to go further and reflect over your past month as well, you can write down the next 3 following questions. What is one thing I learned about myself or about life last month? That's the first question. Second question is, what is one thing I've been trying to get better at? Or one thing I am aiming at getting better at? Now, third question, what is one habit I want to implement into my routine for the upcoming month? And what is one habit I want to stop doing in my routine for the upcoming month? I hope the tips and tricks I shared with you will help you in any way. And if not, I'm sorry, I'll try my best next time to do different. If you're gonna use any of the tips I shared and if you wanna share that with me and let me know how it goes, you can send me an Instagram message at my Instagram, which is @happylucy. With the biggest pleasure, I'll be super happy to hear back from you. And if you just want to say hi, that's also good. Now, I wish you to have a lovely day. And if you can't have a lovely day, then just have a day, because that's lovely too. I will see you in a month again. And until next time, my friend, work hard, dream big, and never give up. Okay, bye now. You're amazing!